Where to park cash is an important topic with our viewers, and there's been new developments in this area. And so that's what we're going to talk to you about today on Friends Talk Financial Planning. Hi, I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and I have a family financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shear. I have a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. And before we dig into where to park your cash reserves, I want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing helps other people on YouTube find our content. So please hit subscribe. And I'm looking forward to talking about parking cash, Bridget.
Yeah, so what we mean by this is we can talk about savings accounts, but usually we like to have an emergency fund. But then we also want to address funds that you might need in the next 1 to 5 years, and maybe even longer than that you want it to be safe. So safety is important, but you'd also like to earn some interest on it too. And again, there's been new developments, and I think it's an important thing to talk about. So John, what's your first idea?
Yeah, and your point exactly. When we have this money that we need to have on that safe side, it's just been sort of keep it in the bank, right? Having money market, having savings accounts, having checking account, CDs. And for years now, 10 years or more, it's sort of been like, hey, it doesn't make much difference if it's in checking or money market, or maybe CDs are paying a little bit more, right? But it's that return, that safety feature was paramount, and there just wasn't much variance between those things. The difference between earning 0.1 and 0.3%, and yeah, it's triple the return, but golly, that just doesn't make very much difference. And one of the things that we're seeing here in the last, 6 or 8 weeks, I suspect, is that with interest rates going up, that there are opportunities to do things that are get a little bit more return while maintaining that safety.
Right.
So we talk about one thing with clients we talk about is actually pay attention to what's going on at your bank or credit union. It used to be, I don't care if your money's in checking or savings, it's all sort of the same thing. Now we're seeing money market accounts, savings accounts paying, 1 or 2% interest. Heck of a lot better than 0.1, right? So just paying attention to that in the first thing. If we have $50,000 in the bank, we're talking meaningful dollars. And then separate from that is saying, listen, again, we're seeing the credit unions around here in the Madison area anyway, where, money market accounts are 1.5 or 2 or, slightly more than that. But US Treasury bills these days, and what Treasury bills are is Treasury bonds backed by the government, but they're short term. So you buy them in 4-week or 8-week increments, 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. And those Treasury bills are paying, 3.5 or 4, or even a little bit more interest rate, guaranteed, backed by the government, totally safe, and not locking your money up for 5 years. We're talking a month or 2 months or 6 months sort of thing. So for clients where we have money in savings and checking, or savings and money market, or maybe that you had a CD at your bank, this is something that we think people should be looking at. And, similar sort of thought process, short term, and some really appealing rates. So I know that you guys are talking about similar things to folks in your practice, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We use CDs a lot. And since I've been in the industry in 2008, generally CD rates have been higher than treasuries. And so we've just been doing CDs, and we use those for the first 5 years of the bond ladder. But now CDs have caught up, or maybe even a little bit higher in some circumstances. So they're definitely worth taking a look when it's something we haven't even looked at all until over the 5-year mark. Until now. So treasuries, awesome. Also, I just wanted to say that can be opportunities. We usually recommend that people move their CD money to their investment account, and then we custody at Schwab, and we buy clients CDs through Schwab. I'm sure Fidelity has the same thing. I don't, that you can buy CDs through them, and they aggregate them. And so you get some good deals on CDs, and they're generally, I've found them to be almost always better than the local banks. So that's a really great place to look. One other tip I use is that we try to have everybody, for the most part, unless there's some reason not to, have their CDs mature at the same time. So we have them mature in usually in November. So then we know, okay, everybody's CDs are maturing. So it helps if it's not at a weird time. I mean, there's a reason with the local banks, they say 15 months or 13
Yeah.
months. It's because you're usually not acclimated to, okay, I want to move my money. You don't remember that. And they're trying to have you keep the money there, but I don't begrudge them at all.
Right,
But with,
right.
if you use Schwab, you can say what date do I want to have it mature on. So that's what we like about, that's what we do, and that's what we're doing. Treasury bills are definitely worth a look at too. And let's talk about, okay, so say you want to buy treasury bills, like what are your options? They do sell them through the Schwab platform, but there's another option as well. So why don't you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so we have people when we do talk about buying treasuries. There was one summer, I think 4 or 5 years ago, where we had a little bit of a blip like this, and just like what buying I bonds, you can go right to treasurydirect.gov and set up an account there and buy the treasuries direct at from the government. And so you don't need to have, maybe if you don't have a brokerage account or if you're not working with an advisor, that you can just do it directly through there as well. And that system is relatively easy to deal with. So you have options. It's not like you have to go through a brokerage firm or you have to go through an advisor. I really appreciate, Bridget, you sharing the idea of buying CDs from a brokerage firm gives you a lot more options than local banks. We've got a lot of folks here. It's just a comfort level for the most part, right? I go to the bank, it's familiar. I can kind of not quite touch it and feel it, but pretty close to that compared to it being on my computer someplace. But just in this conversation, these are the types of conversations that you and I have, and we have with some of our colleagues at ACP, is we need to make sure that for our clients, I'm getting a takeaway from this. Hey, let's make sure we're taking a look at those brokerage firm CDs. Not the problem, but some of those brokerage firm CDs are from banks that we've never heard of, right? That's
Right.
part of the thing. It feels like it's almost imaginary, or like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But it's all FDIC insured, right?
Right.
It's not like you're just fly by night operations. And
Right. So
as we
it's
have
FDIC insured and you're not getting over the FDIC insurance amount,
right.
so you're not taking a risk here.
One of the things in thinking about that idea, like, oh, ABC Bank from West Virginia or wherever it is, you go, who are these guys? Well, again, FDIC insured, we've got the backing. It is safe from that standpoint. Just this whole discussion in general, though, when you hear things like, get double the interest rate, which is what we're talking about around here in the Madison area, we're seeing CD rates, 1 and 2 year CD rates at 2 or 2.5%, 3%. And just come in and say, listen, get double the return, but keep your money safe in short-term investment horizon. You go, wait a minute, it sounds too good to be true, right? And usually that's the case. Something sounds too good to be true, that should get your radar detector up, and you go, well, what's the catch here? This is one of the really few things where there isn't a catch with this. A bubble's not the right word. It's like an anomaly. There's something going on here. We can take advantage, and it is backed by the government. It is, the short term. There's no hidden, expenses or catches or things. This is one of the few places. Most of the time, it's like, yeah, you can't beat the system, right? Trying to be too smart is usually not a recipe for success. This is a place where there's some opportunities if you're aware of things and taking advantage, that it is sort of like a free money type of a thing if you're paying attention to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And my favorite bank actually that we've gotten CDs from before was BMW Bank.
Is that right?
Think of BMWs. It's like,
That's
well,
funny.
it's probably the auto, whatever. They've got operations in the US, obviously, so they can have a bank here and issue CDs. That's what they do. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it seems like this is a great place to wrap it up, John. I am Bridget Sullivan Mermel. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shear. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. Both Bridget and I are members of the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners. If you like what you hear on our show, reach out to us directly, or if you want to find an advisor in your area, check out acplanners.org.
And please subscribe.